Before we get into today's episode, I want to set the stage for what you're about to hear. This is a sponsored conversation with Alan Porter, but more importantly, it's a perspective. It touches on something I think a lot of people quietly wonder about, which is, am I actually prepared financially, or am I exposed to risks I don't fully understand before retirement? In this episode, you're going to hear Alan's story that starts with a personal family crisis, one that completely changed how our guest thinks about money, insurance, and retirement planning. From there, the conversation expands into some bigger ideas, hidden risks in traditional retirement strategies, impact of things like market downturns, unexpected events, long-term care, and an alternative way of thinking about protecting and using your money. Now, some of what you'll hear may challenge what you've been told before, some of it may sound compelling, and some of it you should absolutely question and look into further. That's the point of this episode. It's not telling you what to do. It's about exposing you to a different way of thinking so you can make more informed decisions for yourself. As you're listening or watching, I encourage you to think critically. What makes sense? What feels off? And what do you want to learn more about? If you're watching on YouTube, we've included timestamps throughout the video so you can jump to the sections that matter most to you. And if you're listening on audio, you can find those same timestamps in the show notes so you can easily skip ahead or revisit specific parts of the conversation. With that said, let's get into it. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today's sponsored Alan Porter of Strategic Wealth Strategies. He's a financial advisor. Alan, welcome.
My name is Alan Porter. Retired from the military in 1993. I was a Black Hawk instructor pilot. I tell people I had a safe landing for every takeoff, dodged all the bullets, had a great career. I loved what I did. I loved serving my country. I loved flying. I had a passion for doing it. After my military career, I had a great mortgage and real estate business, very successful, up until 2008. Now, I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, just outside Fort Bragg, where I retired. I've had tragic things happen to my family. My son, disabled for over 3 years, hired an attorney, finally got disability in the summer of 2010. The day that changed my life, his wife called and said, I'm diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, giving me 6 months to live. There's no money coming to my son's family because his disability didn't start till that summer. I'm trying to help him out. I don't know how long I can do this. I was like 99% of people out there that thought life insurance was a death product that you had to die to benefit from it. Little did I know she had a terminal illness rider on her life insurance policy to let her access the death benefit, which was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, completely tax-free. I knew nothing about. If it had not been for that insurance product, my son would be bankrupt. It took a huge financial strain off of me. What I found out about these things changed my entire life. I became very passionate about teaching people to think outside the box of conventional financial planning. We've all been inundated by Wall Street, fee-based advisors, that the only way to save for your retirement is for a 401k or some qualified plan. 58% of the people out there don't even think there's a fee on their 401k. The average fee in the 401k over a 30-year period is 2.99%. That's by Forbes magazine and Lap Times. People have less than half of their money when they go to retire. They get hit with taxes anywhere from 20 to 55%. They'll be out of money. All that 401k or stock portfolio does is compound the risk in retirement. Very few people out there I talk to, include multimillionaires, have no idea what sequence returns risk is. I'll give you an example. Say you have $1 million in a stock portfolio. You say a 4% distribution rate is supposed to be a safe distribution rate to last for 30 years, indexed for inflation at 3%. That's not guaranteed. Let's say you're retired at 65. That $1 million stock portfolio had a 10% loss. Now you're down to $900,000, minus the $40,000 you took out, minus the fee that financial advisor you pay, whether you make money or not. What happens in the next 2-3 years if 2008 happens again, when they've lost 38 to 52%? You'll be out of money in the 5th year. If you have sequence returns risk in the first, what they happen, if you lose money in the first 2 to 3 years of a 10 or 20 year period, as compared to the last 2 to 3 years of a 10 or 20 year period, you're going to be out of money anywhere from the 5th to the 9th year. The average 401k will last 5 to 7 years. People aren't prepared for long-term care. Long-term care right now costs between $50,000 to $200,000 a year. It goes up by 6% every year. I'm 73. My brother's 76. He has Alzheimer's. I had to put him in a nursing home a couple of years ago. The problem with long-term care, people aren't prepared for it. I can mitigate or eliminate long-term care expenses for pennies on the dollar with tax-free money through cash value life insurance, through fixed index annuities properly structured. 40% of all Americans between the age of 18 and 64 are on long-term care right now. 70% of all Americans are going to need long-term care at some point in their life. A classic example, another client, him and his wife had $5 million. They were set with retirement. They're getting ready to do things. Son died of a heart attack in his driveway. He had 4 kids, no life insurance. Wife does not work. Who do you think should be raising those kids? Got another couple in their 70s, retired, got over $10 million in their 401k stock portfolios. They're getting ready to take trips. They planned a trip for the summer. In the meantime, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. The husband became a caregiver. Let's say they had a couple $1 million in their portfolios. There's a thing called Medicaid spin down. The government will take all your assets to pay for the person that needs long-term care. People can protect themselves from this Medicaid spin down.
Quick pause here. If this episode is making you rethink how your income is structured, that's intentional. Information doesn't create freedom, structure does. At the end of this episode, I'm going to show you how to diagnose whether you're building leverage or just scaling complexity. Let's get back into it.
What if I could show you a financial vehicle that grows, can be a tax deduction when properly structured, grows tax deferred, distributions are tax free, protected from lawsuits, liens, and judgments. You avoid probate. You become your own bank. Borrow from yourself, paying yourself back compound interest, not the financial institutions. There's many things that can do with it. College funding, wealth transfer, legacy. You take advantage of the market when it's down. People always tell me there's no such financial product. It's called cash value life insurance, indexed universal whole life insurance. I've got 8 policies, 5 index policies, 3 whole life policies to pay for my granddaughter's graduate college education. It's self-completing. You don't have the worries, government regulation or penalties. I didn't start until 58. 3 years ago, I could have started taking over $100,000 out a year, tax-free, for the rest of my life. My death benefit at that time was $1.5 million. I can use for long-term care. I paid pennies on the dollar. I don't need it. It continues to compound. Here's another thing about becoming your own bank. Banks don't like it at all. Let's say you've got 2 piles of money. You've got $100,000 in your cash value of a properly constructed life insurance policy, and your death benefit is $1 million. I borrowed $50,000 to buy a car. If I borrowed $50,000 from a financial institution, it's 0% interest, and it would be $1,000 a month for 50 months. If I borrow from my cash value life insurance policy, that $100,000 of cash value continues to compound. The $50,000 I borrowed is a lien against the death benefit. You have an unstructured loan payment. I'm going to pay myself back $1,000 a month for 50 months. That money's going to compound for me, not some financial institution. My cash value now is going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, tax-free money that I can do anything I want with. Buy real estate, invest in the market, start my own business. It's limitless what you can do when you're properly educated and know what to do with these policies. Another thing that people don't understand, when it comes to retirement, it's not about rate of return. It is about distribution of your assets. A perfect example. Let's go back to that $1 million in your stock portfolio at a 4% distribution rate. That's $40,000 a year. That's not guaranteed. You only have to have approximately $650,000 in certain fixed indexed annuities when they're properly structured to give you the same $40,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life. Also has long-term care benefits. But you can't do any of this with a stock portfolio. The number one fear of retirement is running out of money before you run out of life. We eliminate sequence of returns, longevity of government risk, tax market risk. We eliminate the taxation of Social Security and the means testing for Medicare Part B. That's tens of thousands of dollars a year that most financial planners and CPAs never tell their clients about. There's so much out there that people need to know now to protect themselves. I'm passionate about what I do. I have a team of specialists that work with me. We collaborate to solve people's financial problems. We show people how to reduce and possibly eliminate debt and taxes. We also show people how to eliminate or mitigate the risk in retirement, show them how to become their own bank, strategic tax planning and saving. By a client, we recouped his taxes that he paid over the last 3 years. He's getting that money back. We have tax planning strategies, asset protection, business exit strategies. Healthcare is extremely expensive. I've got a healthcare plan that will save you 20 to 30% of your healthcare plans. The employer will save anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 a year in tax savings. Employees with this preventive health and wellness program, that's a benefit. Some of the benefits of this, 1,100 prescription drugs. That's 20 to 30% of healthcare costs right there. We have health programs that get counseling. Right now, the big healthcare providers are being sued because their PBMs are pharmacy benefit managers. Been overcharging companies and individuals anywhere from 20 to 40%. They've been doing it for years. Now they're in lawsuits in the millions and billions of dollars.
How can people connect with you and learn more?
I do not charge for my counseling sessions. It's all about education. Everybody needs this. You can call, email, or go to my website, schedule a meeting, and I have a tax calculator for your retirement income. It shows you how much taxes you're going to pay. My book is out on Amazon. It's called Tax-Free Retirement Solution.
Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your expertise. This is a sponsored episode. None of this is financial advice, educational purposes only. We caution the listeners to do their due diligence. Let's zoom out. If you're a physician, founder, or high-income professional, and you feel like you're working harder every year, but not structurally freer, you're not alone. The mistake isn't effort, it's architecture. This show exists to help you convert expertise into scalable leverage, faster and with fewer expensive missteps. Here's the diagnostic I mentioned before. If your income requires your constant presence, if your capital isn't compounding outside your profession, if your highest value talent is doing low value tasks, you don't have a growth problem, you have a leverage design problem. And if you want to fix it with clarity instead of guesswork, I offer a limited number of one-on-one leverage strategy sessions each month. We audit your income model, capital deployment, authority positioning, and structural bottlenecks, and design your highest return move. If you're serious about compressing years into months, the link to apply is below.